Man.
Welcome back to Open Pros Pick'em. This is stop number 9 of the year on the St. Lawrence River. We are minus one guy today, Ish Monroe. Not really sure where he is at. We've been calling and texting.
Yeah, no one knows.
You know where he's at?
Where's that?
I think he went tuna fishing.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
Yeah, because we've been. It just keeps going straight to voicemail. I was going to do a wellness check on him.
Do they not have cell phone service out there?
No, they go a long ways. Yeah.
So those boats don't have like a way that you can put a transmitter on them?
Mm-mm.
That, and no offense, if I was out there, I would have it on silent and mute and be like, I ain't doing this.
I don't have any cell phone signal while I'm texting somebody.
Well, you don't have any cell phone signal at home, Andrew.
Well, there's that. That's very. I don't know why you're attacking me right now. We're talking about Ish.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyways, before I was so rudely interrupted, St. Lawrence River. We're going a week after the Bass Pro Tour was there. They caught them decent, but they were. Where were they at? Messina?
Messina, yeah. And it was every fish counts.
And every fish counts. And this week they are going out of Waddington. Michael Neal.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw that.
So it looked like the weights were pretty good. It's kind of hard to judge based off of theirs because they do every fish counts. But I do believe this is going to be a good tournament. I don't think you're going to see the skyrocketing weights that you would normally see if you're going out of Clayton. But I still think you're going to see a bunch of 20-pound bags. Am I about right there, Matt? Don't you think?
I have seen more giants caught in practice on social media in this thing than just about any other tournament that I've seen. I think I've seen 4 personal best caught, and Thursday and Friday are going to be. I texted a couple guides up there, JP and Travis and them up there.
Yeah.
And they think the first 2 days are going to be Western up there. And then the wind kicks up and it's going to be strap everything down and make it there and get your 5 and get back in one piece on the weekend. So that'll kind of knock it down for the weekend. But the first 2 days, like, I think you'll see a lot of mid-20s.
Can I ask a question? I'm being real serious about this. It just made me think about something. Do y'all know y'all's personal best smallmouth?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The only reason I know is because I caught it in tournament.
Yeah, so did I. I caught it on the last cast, the last drift of the tournament with 5 minutes left with only 4 fish in the box on St. Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I had to go pick Andrew up with a 7-pounder almost in the live well.
Yeah, I would say that I guess I don't really know if I know mine, but I would know what it is from a tournament standpoint. But yeah, I've never actually like weighed a smallmouth out there. I'm just curious. Okay.
Yeah,
what's your biggest? You've got to catch a giant, haven't you, Tom?
I know he's caught some 6s for sure.
Yeah. I've caught a lot of 6s. I don't really remember what they were. Like that 6'4", 6'5", maybe. But I mean, I caught one with Andrew on Lake Texoma that I don't know how big it was. It was like just a big old giant black smallmouth. Remember that?
It was massive. Yep. Yeah, you caught on topwater. Caught on prop bait.
Didn't you catch yours on 5-pound test, Upshaw?
I did catch mine on 5-pound test.
A 7-pounder on 5-pound test.
Yep. I don't have a 7. That's pretty.
You've got the biggest. You're a trivia question every time they go to the St. Lawrence. They'll have it this year.
Yep.
You have weighed in the largest smallmouth in Bassmaster history on the St. Lawrence River. You've weighed in the largest smallmouth in Bassmaster history.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
You didn't know that?
Dude, I barely know like what lake they're going to be on right now. So no, I did not know that. That's awesome. Yeah. Dude, that's a cool.
It'll be broken this week. Mark
you
my
need
words.
to start off. Hi, I'm Andrew Upshaw.
Record holder.
Yeah. Record holder of the biggest bass ever weighed it. But like you would have to explain it for so long.
Oh,
For the biggest smallmouth ever weighed in on the St. Lawrence River and the Bassmaster Open, but like that would be a long title.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. I remember that catch like it was yesterday. It was amazing. I honestly thought I had a drum on because it would never come off the bottom forever.
And no net.
No, gosh, no.
No net, right?
No.
So,
I about bear hugged. I almost fell in trying to get him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was bad. But let's get to these picks because this is actually pretty interesting when you start going through the groups here at St. Lawrence. And I'm going to tell you right now, Group A is just it's always loaded, but this one there's actually some big time sleepers in this group. If you want to make up ground this year, this is the group to make ground up.
I don't think you can.
You don't think so?
No.
Because there's going to be too many top 10s out of this one group.
Well, so I was thinking the same thing, right? But the problem is is the only way. So when you got Chris and Corey at 40 and 23%.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it's basically 64% if you look at it. They're both going to probably top 10. So even if you pick a guy who does, I know, Matt, what I'm saying is they're not going to do bad. Right.
Yeah.
And so even if you pick a guy who makes the top 10 and or 5th place and they come in like 10th and you picked a sleeper, you didn't really gain anything.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah. But I mean, you look at guys like, let's just say Jay Shakurik. He's at 9.9% and he won there last time.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you, it's going to be hard to that's who I'm going to pick.
I mean, you got Cooper Gallant at 5.9%, which is certified crazy good at that place. But I'm going a completely different route. We talked about it off air before we got here. I'm going Kyle Patrick. Caught his PB at 8 pounds, 1 ounce. I have nothing to lose at this point. I just got a feeling that the dude is due to have a really big tournament. I think the rookie class this year has just been incredible. You see at least 2 rookies in almost every single top 10 that we have. And I think he's one of the top 10 rookies this week. And he's going to be so mad at me for picking him. But Kyle, I'm picking you. Who you got, Todd?
I told you, I got Jay.
You got Jay.
Just because I think this is only I would normally pick Chris. I would. Yeah. But I think I've made it all year long without picking him. Even though, and not in a bad way. I'm just saying, usually I pick, if it's a smallmouth, I'm going to probably at least pick him. I'm always going to pick Taku. Yeah. And then usually it's and depending on where Chris is in there, Chris or Corey. And so, but I'm like, you know what? I've made it this long. I'm going to go all year without picking him, which is stupid. I told y'all last year, the last event, I'm like, did none of us ever pick a Johnson in this one? Look,
and one got second. Yeah. By now. Exactly. Who you got Group A, Matt?
All right. So it's the last one of the year. I think I'm leading the group. I just want to finish strong. I don't really have. I'm kind of one of those guys like in the Angler of the Year who's in the Classic but can't win Angler of the Year but can't fall out.
He knows if he's leading the group. I don't. Yes, I think I am.
Listen,
you are.
I'm just saying for the last 3 years, one of the 3 of us made it painfully clear every tournament that they were leading the group.
That's because Andrew would tell me I am, because I wouldn't be able to figure it out.
All right, so here's where the strategy comes into play. So you kind of have to know who rooms with who and what position they are in the Angler of the Year going into the last one, because guys help guys in the tournament, right? So here's the way I'm looking at it. Coop and Corey, they're going to top 10 off of B stuff because Chris is 13 points behind in the Angler of the Year list against Justin Hamner. And I promise you, you know how this stuff works. We did it in the Bassmaster Opens. The 1A first shot, 5-6 pound stuff. Chris gets all of that because he's right there for the Angler of the Year. He's only 13 points back. So unless there's some sort of catastrophe, Chris is a lock for a top 10. In my opinion. So are those other guys, but Chris is going to have it. Then you could say, well, Patrick Walter, but guess who Patrick Walters rooms with? Justin Hamner. Patrick Walters has a crazy good record on the St. Lawrence, but I guarantee if he gets on it, the Ham Daddy is going to be fishing that stretch as well. So I'm going through each one of these groups as to what they have to lose, who they room with, and where they are in the Angler of the Year race to make the Bassmaster Classic. So I'm going with Chris just because I think by picking Chris, I'm also picking Corey, and I'm also picking Cooper, and I'm also picking anyone else in that A group who knows that fishery.
So who did you pick again? It felt like
I think you picked 3 of them.
I picked 3 of them, but by picking Chris, I get all 3. Plus, if you look at it, Chris is only at 40%. That means there's 60% of guys who don't have them. It's still a good value pick.
God, you're going to make me change my pick. I'm going to pull a Todd and a Matt and change my pick to Chris. I like the logic, actually. It makes a lot of sense.
No. I think he's the smartest one to pick. I'm just not picking him.
Yeah.
Because.
I wonder how mad Kyle would be if I changed my pick right now. Probably
I will say this on day 1. So I had Kyle on VTL for like 10 minutes after he caught it while he was at the fizzing clinic, Barb's fizzing deal. Mm-hmm. Said he had 30 pounds by 11 on day 1 of practice.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me. And I think they're going to be. So this is my logic on this. is when you start looking at that run, there's nobody more seasoned in that group, A group, than Chris, Corey, and Coop when it comes to making that run. Okay? So they know all the back ways to get down to places. They know when it gets rough where they can go. The problem is when you got a guy like Kyle Patrick and some of the other rookies, is they're going to try to make that run regardless of what's going on if they go bust them for 2 days.
And this was his first time on Ontario.
Oh, I did not know that.
Well, I will say this. If you knew how to go catch some of those guys, like if it was me and I'm like in 10th spot in Angler of the Year and all I got to do is go catch them, man, I'm going to just go catch them. Okay. Like, let me qualify for the Classic and be on my way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like not worry about breaking down or any of that, like rough water stuff. Like, let me go. So, I mean, you might be surprised about that. Now, I don't know if that helps you in this, but like if you're trying to go now, the guy's sitting in like the 30, I don't know, man. There's some, if the guy's got nothing to lose, he's going to go out there.
No doubt. I completely agree.
I will say this. So Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, good weather. Saturday at 8 a.m., 15-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, but so they're going, listen, all you care about is making the cut.
Yeah.
How bad is that out there at 15 to 20, Andrew? You've been out there. I have not.
It's pretty bad. I made the run. I did it. And it's real bad.
Like how much fishing time does it cut off from like the mouth at Cape Vincent there out to the land of the Shamus? Like, are you losing another hour of fishing?
Yeah, probably about 40 minutes.
And can you fish effectively even?
Not well. But the cool thing about those islands and stuff that are positioned out there is there's always a side of an island that you can get that is not as big as the other side. So like you can find little bitty places where you can kind of fish effectively. And those guys are so good. I mean, when you talk the Johnstons and some of the others are so good at it, they're going to be able to do whatever they want to do. I honestly don't even I think the Johnstons are good enough and Coop's good enough that they're not even going to have to go to the lake on the 3rd and 4th day if they don't have to. They're going to be able to hit stuff in that Clayton area, up in the river a little bit, not far up in the river, but up in the river a little bit, that they're going to have really good tournaments. Let's go ahead and go to Group B. I'm going to lead us off in Group B. I'm going Ben Milliken. I'm going against Taku only because I need to catch up. And I mean, Taku's at almost 60%, 56% right now. And I got to catch up. Polnick's taking up another big portion of that. I think out of the two rookies in that group, there might be more than that, but Logan Parks and Ben Milliken, I think Milliken has a better tournament. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I'm going with. Who you got, Matt?
So I'm going to do the same thing here. So Corey Johnson is with 6 cents. And right?
Yeah.
And Ben Milliken is a big 6 cents guy. And I know, what are you guys laughing at?
Matt's just doing this like 7 degrees of separation thing. Like,
do you want to know why I'm picking my guys or why I'm not?
It's fine. I can't.
Where you connect the dots, Matt, I think is the biggest issue, because it's like where you go with these things sometimes are just so abstract that the normal person doesn't understand. But I mean, I respect your opinion.
Keep going.
I think it's good.
So I know when Ben made the Elite Series, he had a really rough day on day 1 of the Open. But I also know he's got some juice there. He knows what's going on. Corey's in the Classic. He knows enough stuff to give. And I'm not taking anything away from Ben. I know Ben has spent a lot of time up there. He's done videos up there himself, but I'm just, like I said, putting the dots together. Milliken's in 30th in the Angler of the Year points, but he's only like 20 points to the good right now, to the top 40.
Yeah. So
I feel like with what Ben knows up there, with how good he is and his time he's put in, plus maybe a stretch or two from one of the best that's ever fished the river, who really doesn't have anything to lose there, that is an incredibly strong pick to go Milliken to make up ground. But you can't go against 4 top 10s in a row, Taku, Powder, and Smallmouth Disneyland, so I'm still going with Taku at 60%.
Yeah, so My pick. So here's what I'm thinking in Group B. Drew Benton and Drew Cook are both roommates. Okay. But they both sight fish. The other good sight fisherman in this group is Stetson Blaylock from Arkansas. Okay. Now, Greg Hackney is from Louisiana, but lives in Louisiana, but is from Arkansas. Okay. Now, a lot of people don't know he is roomed with Jacob Prosnick, like a little bit in the opens and stuff. So they know each other really well. But Caleb Summerall is also from Louisiana, just like Hackney is now living in Louisiana. Which brings me to Taco Itu, who I will always pick if he's in a group. So that's why I'm picking Taco Itu. Okay.
Oh,
that's my pick.
So good. Okie dokie then. Let's go Group C. Matt, how about you lead us off in Group
Yeah, lead us off
C.
with this one.
Austin Felix.
Oh my gosh. Jaw hurts.
Any reason why?
He's available.
What about you, Todd? Who you got Group C?
Well, I have to pick the best live scope fisherman of all time. I don't know how to go through what Ish says every single time he wants to pick Koyo, but I mean, all he does is he has the same thing, like the same 2-minute delivery.
The prince of live scope. Yeah.
And I am going to pick him. I'm going to pick Koyo for this one because I'm live scope picks only. So
I really want to go Austin Felix bad because he did well last week. And he just does extremely well in smallmouth tournaments. And he's not afraid to make runs.
Is it okay if I tell you why you should?
Why should I?
Okay, so there's a group of about 8 anglers who have a lot to gain here, especially with double qualifications. And Austin Felix is right on that verge at 51st place with 404 points, but he still has to make up probably 30 to 35 points in this event. On his Bassmaster profile, he lists New York as his favorite state to fish in, and his last 4 trips to the St. Lawrence River, he has finishes of 19th, 11th, 10th, and 25th. He's a solid angler fishing in his favorite state with everything ahead of him.
Yeah, I got a question. I got a question for you, Matt. So he's what, 51st in points?
He's got 404 points, and right now 40th is 448 points. But I think it probably might drop down to 42nd. It just depends. It rarely is right at the top 40 cut, which is, 43rd is 432 points. So he's like right there.
I don't want to have to like do all the math on that. I'm being serious. What I'm asking is like when we fish Toyotas, there's sometimes 150 people. Like when we fish the opens, there's 230. So you kind of have an idea of like a place. Yeah. What place does he have to come in to make up those kind of points generally?
So it just depends, because if you have guys who are typically strong on that fishery, at least a top 10. But if here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at 41st through 50th and how those anglers are on the St. Lawrence River. So if he had anglers that are studs on the St. Lawrence, that are right ahead of him, it would be hard to make it up. So he's got Koya there, but Alex Weatherall, Bob Dowdy, Brock Mosley, Gussie, Jonathan Kelly, Shane LaHue, Brian Schmidt, Greg DePalma, and Matty Wong. So there's a couple of those guys that don't have great track records. A couple do have great track records, but it's not – the guys are already in the Classic that are like way ahead of them. So there's like some wiggle room in there.
Right. Okay.
Well, I'm not going Austin Felix. I'm going Seth Fighter. Every time he goes there, especially when they go out of like Waddington or something like that, he tends to figure out the shallow water deal as good or better than anybody, and I really like that about him. And he just understands that place extremely well. I'm going out on a limb here with Seth Fighter, but I still think he is the pick for me. Let's go Group D. Todd, how about you lead us off?
I haven't picked this guy. Like, I used to pick him once a year, and I will say this guy. I'd pick this guy once a year. No, not that guy. And he's the other. There's two people on this I would pick once a year. They'd usually do really good. I don't know if I want to pick Paul Mueller, but he hasn't been the Paul Mueller of old. And I don't know if Paul was great before Live Scope. Is he adopted the live? Like, this is kind of like where he would be good at, but I don't know who else I would pick.
I would venture to say Paul was good in the early adoption of Live Scope.
Right. I know. And there's some guys like that, and it's weird. You know what? I'm going Bryant Smith.
Ah, man, he's one of the two that I have right now. I'm actually leaning between Bryant Smith and Clark Wendlandt. Clark has an unbelievable track record on the St. Lawrence River. The only thing that I don't like about Clark in this situation is they are going so far from up the river, and he fishes the lake almost exclusively, makes that run every time. But with that being said, if he can make that run on Thursday, Friday, he makes top 10, or he makes the cut for sure. Now, what happens on Saturday, I don't know, but Clark is almost a shoe-in for a top 10 at St. Lawrence River if he can get down there on Saturday. So, I mean, and Bryant, actually, where I caught that 7-pound smallmouth was the same kind of general area where Bryant caught him in that particular open. When I caught that 7-pounder, it was the same general, 100, I don't know, like mile and a half stretch. And I think he top 10 in that event, and actually top 5, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, it's definitely, he understands the drifting game, and I do think there's going to be some drifting involved for sure. So I don't think it's a bad pick. What about you, Matt?
I'm going Bryant Smith. I mean, the guy has the heaviest bag of smallmouth weight in Elite Series history, 29.5 last year. He also posted like one of those one more day to figure it out, but then was holding like a 5.5 pounder, which to me is like, I got him figured out, but I don't just want to come out and say looking forward to Thursday. And then I didn't know about the drifting thing, but if you watched the last major BPT event there, a lot of the guys were drifting in deeper water and catching larger than average fish that weren't able to, keep up with the smaller. So I think that those 3 reasons, Smith is a great pick.
All right, let's go.
That was just a lucky pick by me then, I guess.
Yeah, he's really good there. Let's go Group E. Matt, how about you lead us off?
I'm going Jamie Hartman. I mean, he's just got a ton of history there. He might not be good for a mega sack, but I think he's going to be just like what he did at Champlain in the E group, which is knock out a top 50, give you 170, 180 points. His upside is big, and he's literally fishing to win because he's out of it with that medical exemption. So he's going to be trying to catch the biggest sack he can.
Yeah, I'm going Joey Cifuentes. Won there before, if I remember correctly, in MLF stuff. Has a history of catching the fire out of smallmouth basically everywhere he goes. He's heavily owned. If I was going to go to another pick, and the reason I would go to this pick, because I know the area that he fishes, because I've been around him too many times, is an easy smallmouth pick, and that's Chad Pipkins. He understands the drifting game as much or better than anybody. He's almost a shoe-in for 20 pounds a day, doing what he does, if not even a little bit more. So if you want a safe pick, go Pipkins. If you want hey, I'm going to go try to get a top 10, might win it, I think Cifuentes is your pick. How about you, Todd?
This one's kind of hard for me too. I like, but I'm going back to my old school roots of just going freaking of like who I feel. That's why I picked Bryant. Like I'm just going who I really feel. I don't know why. I'm gonna pick Mullins on this one.
I think whenever you got confused before between St. Clair and St. Lawrence, you picked Mullins, and I think he had like a really great tournament.
I think he top 10'd it.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was when I was beating up on Matt every week.
Yeah,
in this game.
Wow, it was a dark period in my life.
Yeah,
that's when he picked Jason Christie every week, wasn't it?
No, he got mad. No, that's when he should have. He said he was going to, and then he didn't follow through with it.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh man, he's still crying about it. Well, so with that being said, what is the winning bait this week?
Winning bait?
Winning bait.
Oh, that's not fun anymore. The winning baits aren't fun anymore. I bet you it does this.
Through the water column?
Yeah.
I beg to differ.
Well, you
I
can
don't think it'll be a minnow.
Huh?
I don't think it'll be a minnow this week.
You can put a weight on the bottom of it and it still does this.
Well, I mean, but that's called a drop shot.
Well, they're all going to be doing this. When you shake a drop shot, what does it do?
No, I know. Actually, I think the winning bait this week's going to be a jig, if I had to guess. Football jig, in fact.
What I'm going with a net on the back.
Yep, or swim bait.
Yep.
What? Okay, I thought you meant like a jig or swim bait. I'm like, no, now we're picking two.
No, with a swim bait trailer.
I mean, I can pick 5 baits like Matt picks 5 anglers. So it's
But he connected the dots somehow.
Yeah, well, we connected them all right. I connected mine too.
So what's your winning bait this week, Todd? Minnow?
Huh? Yeah, I mean, this freaking dropping down on them.
Like it. Who is the favorite to win? Todd, I'll let you lead it off. Who do you think wins this event?
Chris? Yeah.
Okay. Who you got, Matt? Can't pick Chris.
That's a tough one. I have nothing. You know what? I think it comes out of left field and Brandon Lester wins the dang thing.
Dude, Lester's been killing it in the smallmouth game.
I think Brandon Lester, like, there's really no attention on him, and I think it's like out of left, like not out of left field, but I think it's like Lester comes in with a couple just mega bags and gets redemption on the lake where he had the winning fish in his hands 3 years ago.
Yeah, I'm actually going Koyo on this. I think Koyo wins, but I don't have the confidence in not pick him instead of Seth Fodder. Because I think Seth Fodder is going to be that guy that's extremely consistent. It's going to go out there and catch them every day. And I've seen Koyo not have some of the best tournaments. But if there's anybody that could go figure something out that is abstract, it'd be that guy for sure.
Oh, and if not, I'm rooting for Wes.
Wes Logan?
Yeah, I hope he goes out there and smashes on him.
No doubt. I completely agree with that. So winning weight. Matt, I'm just going to lead with you because I know you've got some statistical anomaly of paired humans that room together and how the earth spins and the cicadas all hatch at the same time of what the weight is going to be. So what do you got this week?
All right. So the weight has gone up each of the last 3 years. You take into account that it took 100 when Shakur won. It took 105 pounds when Patrick Walters won. I think it's going to take more, but I think the weights will be knocked down a little because of the weekend. So I'm going 105 pounds, 1 ounce.
Ooh.
God, we are so close. What do you got, Todd?
103.1.
103.1. I've got 104.10. So
I'm always listen. I don't really ever care if I win this thing, but I will say one thing. Sometimes I make the pound, like, I'm always scared I'm going to be off by like 20 pounds because I have no idea. I just pick random numbers half the time. I'm always shocked when I get really close to y'all because I couldn't have told you if you'd have bet me like $10 to get within 5 pounds of what won last year, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Or
I didn't even know what they caught last year. I just know that how good that place is and the quality of angler that's in this field. Well, and it's only 100 boats. So it's like,
I always know it's like a little over 25 is leading. And they usually do it for 2 days. They usually never do it for 4 days. And then if you do factor in this win thing, I was like, okay, a little bit over 25 and then a little under 25 is what I was thinking. That's how I came up with mine.
Yeah. I think the guys that are in the top 5, I would dare to say the top 5 is going to be between 28 and 26 pounds the first day.
What did now I'm really curious because I know Matt's got this. What did Bryant Smith have? You said he caught like
29.5.
I was going to ask, has anyone caught 30 in an elite event?
No, but there has been several, like out of Kingston, I think, and some stuff out of Cape Vincent, where like low 30s have been hit, like mid 30s.
This time of year, you don't see it as often.
Is that local stuff?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
local stuff. But I mean, but you're that's more like when they're spawning. It's they're a little more pre-spawn, spawn, that kind of stuff.
Like individual tournaments or like team stuff?
Team stuff.
Yeah, team stuff.
Like there was just one out last week, and I want to say it was four fish limit out of the Kingston side, and he had like 28.
Wow.
4 for 28.
Nice.
And lost the big one, I think.
4 7s.
Yeah, they had like 4 mids. Yeah, it was like right at 28.
They had to have 7s. They couldn't have had mid 6s.
It might have been 27. It might have been 26. I don't know. It was like it was over a 6.5 pound average for
that math I can do.
Yeah. Because they were like, I can't remember who it was. I had a screenshot. It was like stumbled on day 1 and only had like 21 on 4. And we're like, but made up for it on day 2. And it was just like straight meat.
That is one that I absolutely would not miss if I could go up there again. Like that place is incredible. I don't care where you put in at. It is one of the most magical places I've ever been to. Now, you're not going to catch a bunch of fish for the most part, but golly, when you hook one there.
I went up there in the springtime and went sight fishing when I took my wife there when we left from Champlain.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever been. And yeah, I videoed it all. It was like freaking incredible. Like the video was just insane. We caught them all sight fishing. It was great.
That's crazy. Well, guys, this is the last one or the last tournament of the year for Open Pros Pick'em. I hate that Ish wasn't here. I'm actually thinking we're going to do another show to kind of recap everything after this. So if anybody's watching, we are going to have another one. We'll have Ish on. We'll kind of recap the year. We'll crown me as probably the champion because Matt is probably going to stumble and fall this week like he does normally. And and we'll just go from there. But we do really appreciate y'all watching. We hope y'all
look at him. He's over there changing his picks. I mean, I guarantee.
No, I was trying to find the results for that tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we really have enjoyed having the guys on. It's been a lot of fun this year, and yeah, I mean, we've got Spinning Rod Todd, and we got Matt Pangrac. So, guys, I appreciate it, and we will see y'all in the next year.